Hey, what's poppin'? This your boy Jay the Comedian. How y'all doing today? Oh, how am I doing? Oh, I feel spectacular. I feel really good, actually. And today I want to talk about what it was like growing up as a Jehovah's Witness when I was a little kid, right? But before we get to the video, just putting out a reminder, this is an XJW video. And if you want this video seen by as many people possible, I think that's how you say it. Be sure to hit the like button so that this video can be shown to as many people as possible. Thank you. Okay, so what it was like growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, it was rough. I don't think I ever recovered from the upbringing that I had to endure to get to this point now. Now, there's good things that happen. Like, I grew up in a really, really bad neighborhood, and due to maybe the structure that I had as a Jehovah's Witness, it kept me out of certain dangers. But at the same time, I can't really say that it's worth it. You know what I mean? Because basically I put it like this. If I were to get locked up and go to prison, right? And, you know, some people who I would have hung out with, they all got like shot up or whatever, right? And I'm going to be like, oh, wow, thank God I'm in prison. No, nobody wants to be in prison. You know what I'm saying? Now, I understand the happiness of being able to, you know, go around certain events, but at the same time, come on, man. Being a Jehovah's Witness really crippled me in certain ways. For instance, when I was young and I used to go to school, I was exactly the way I am now. I like to have fun. I like to make people laugh. I like to entertain. That was me. Kind of a class clown, but I had really good grades in middle school. We're not going to talk about high school. Puberty came and my grades dropped like a stone. But anyway, in grammar school, I enjoyed being around people, making them laugh, having a good time myself. And when you are like that, when you have that type of personality, people are drawn to you because people like to be entertained. People like to have fun. And I was constantly getting people inviting me to birthday parties, wanting to hang out with them after school. Hey, come over to my house. We're having a sleepover. All this, that, and the third. But I was a Jehovah's Witness. And those wicked kids, I could not hang around. My mother and father didn't allow anything like that to happen. They told me I could talk to them about Jehovah. But every time I talk to people about Jehovah, they turn around and run the other way. I'm sure my parents were like, exactly. Because they didn't want me around anybody who wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. When you're a Jehovah's Witness, your friendship, your circle of people you can be around have to be Jehovah's Witnesses. That's it. Anybody else, no, it's looked down upon. You can't do that. You're not supposed to have people, you shouldn't have worldly friends. That's what they call it. and I just remember that growing up, that it was this one guy who was like super duper friends with me, right? Me and him were like the best of friends in school. And I remember I gave him my number and I told him, like, you know, you can call me, but try to call like after 7 o'clock because I know my mom would probably not be home. My father wouldn't be home. So then I could get on the phone. And I'm just like, yo, this ain't a relationship with a girl. This is just, you know, the homeboy. Like, I got to wait till they ain't around to have them call me. So he would hit me up sometime. We'll talk about like the game. The game we was playing then was a Sega Genesis game called Jurassic Park. And thus the shirt. But I don't know if y'all remember that Sega Genesis game, but it was the greatest. And he had one and I had one. And we were both trying to get through the levels, but we was having problems on certain levels. So he'd call me and tell me what he tried and if it worked, and I'll call him and tell him what I tried and if it worked. And it was just something innocent and fun that we used to do. And my mother looked at the phone bill one day and wasn't recognizing this number that was calling and that I was calling back. And I got put on punishment for talking to a worldly friend at school over the phone about a video game. Completely innocent. Just think about that. Disciplining your child. Saying you did wrong and you know you did wrong and you're in trouble now for something as innocent as talking on the phone to somebody who wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. Just think about that for a second. Just think what that does to a person. In that relationship right there, probably would have lasted a lifetime. But eventually, due to the hard restraints by my parents, I don't know where the guy is right now. I have no idea. And it's like that with almost any and everybody I went to high school with, grammar school, all of my growing up life. I can't really even tell you where any of them are. And that means Jehovah Witnesses too, because Jehovah Witnesses, they come and go. You're only good as a Jehovah Witness as long as you're doing what the governing body said you're supposed to do. Once you stop that and you get up out of there, you get cut off too. And a lot of people I grew up with, they're not witnesses or they are witnesses. Either way it go, at some point, we lost contact with each other because a lot of people, once they become an ex-JW, you don't know who is and who aren't ex-JW, so you can't just come out to the world, hey, everybody, I'm done. Like, you can't do that. You just kind of got to discover as you go along. And I've found a bunch of people who are done with that organization, and we can talk now and we can congregate now, but it's just funny because growing up, it was just so tough to maintain a relationship with anybody, especially people who were not Jehovah Witnesses. And you know how bad it was? I remember once I was, 12, 13, something like that. And these guys, drug dealers, they were drug dealers. I'm not going to act like they weren't. They purchased a basketball rim for the little kids in the neighborhood so they wouldn't be out here getting in no trouble. Now, mind you, they made sure that any criminal activity that they were doing was taking place somewhere else so the kids would be safe. And we just had this little, because it was a parking lot that nobody used, and it was pretty large, and they just put the basketball rim there. It was one basketball rim, and all the kids in the neighborhood could use it. And I love basketball. I still love basketball to this day. You know, my father came up there one hot summer day and pulled me off that basketball court in front of everybody, embarrassed me forever. I never even wanted to go back up there afterward. And I think that was probably the point of why he did it the way he did it. But he came up there with a belt while I was shooting my hoops, and he just started hitting me with it in front of everybody. I'm probably emotionally scarred from that, but I remember it pretty vividly, especially my backside. I remember that real vividly. He started to hit me in front of everybody. And it hurt a lot, but it wasn't the pain that really got me. It was more or less everybody was watching. Everybody. There was some girls up there I liked. All the guys in the neighborhood, the people who I saw every day, saw me getting hit with this belt. And it hurt me deeply. I cried for days. I just couldn't stop because it was so unnecessary. I wasn't hurting nobody. I wasn't out there cussing, doing drugs, drinking, nothing. But he felt like I was committing a sin against God. So he got me, and he made sure that I would be too embarrassed to ever go back to that court again, and it worked. It pretty much worked. I don't think I ever went back there. I didn't want to deal with and he was perfectly fine with doing his son like that. Just perfectly okay with it. So growing up as a Jehovah Witness is, to say the least, it damaged me very, very, very deeply. And I still hurt. I still try to figure it out. I want to know what I don't know that I need to know. I want to know what I don't know that I need to know. That's the best way I could put it. Because there are things out there that I want to figure out, and for some reason I just can't attack it the way I want to. And while trying to attack it the way I want to, I get these weird feelings of, nah, you can't do it. Nah, don't worry. It's a constant extra step I gotta take, where I have to just catch myself first, which is extremely hard. Hey, Jay, you're doing something you're not supposed to do. If you see a problem and you see something that you want to do, just do it. Don't tell yourself you can't. Don't talk yourself out of it. Just try to do it. But I constantly find myself having to do that. And I think it's because of something mentally that happened when I was younger that causes me to constantly doubt myself in certain areas. But just being mindful of that, and being mindful of the hard upbringing you had, the constant going to meetings and never feeling like you're doing good enough, and never feeling like you belong. Because, to be honest, I never felt like, yeah, I'm a great Jehovah's Witness. At no point ever. And my relationships on every level has suffered from that. Like I've always had a problem connecting with people and maintaining a relationship. Probably because I had to be so comfortable with shutting and cutting somebody off at the drop of a hat if I needed to. That scars people. Scarred me. So yeah, that's my life so far. And growing up as a Jehovah's Witness was tough, as I'm sure you all can attest to. It was not easy about going out and field service or just dealing with other people who were not Jehovah's Witnesses who just didn't understand, you know? But anyway, it's your boy Jay the Comedian. I hope y'all are having a great day. Like the video if you haven't. Share the video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right? Holla at your goala. Deuces!